Hey guys, it's James here bringing you the first episode of our Wigan Roundup, so let's begin. Wow, what a season we just had. So, we took this Wigan team that just got relegated from the Premier League the season before, and we built the new core of the team. We brought in some new cheap players from around the world, players you wouldn't even heard of, like Gonzalez, Rajkovic, Meekings from the Scottish League, Duncan, the new Michael Essien of the team, pretty much. Well, that's what he is. And we just spent the whole season working towards the championship title, and we got there in the end. I think we won by 5 or 6 points. But now we're in the Premier League, and you just saw there, the board wanted us to get a mid-table position. That's going to be quite a hard thing to do. Ultimately, I think the goal is to survive and stay in the Premier League. If we can do that, then I'll be very happy, and I'm sure the board will be happy as well. So what I do with my career modes is that I make the episodes a bit shorter, and all I want to try to do is make them more interesting, hence the name, the Wigan Roundup, the career mode roundup. So, and I think it's harder to do this if you're a smaller channel, it's hard to grab the attention of audiences, especially for me, I'm small channels. So, because of this, you can expect the episodes to be about 6 to 7 minutes, and it's going to be goals, 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 and other really important highlights. And last season, in one episode, we would usually round up about 4 to 5 games in that 6 or 7 minutes, so that's pretty good. And I think it works better if I do that because you get to understand what the team is like, how the team is shaping up, who's performing well, who's on form, all that type of stuff. Maybe apart from the first and last episodes of the season, they'll probably be a bit longer, and the reason for that is because, I have transfer business in between and a whole lot of emails and friendlies. So now, onto the team. So this is pretty much the team that got us to the Premier League, and you can see it's a 4-3-3, and I said this in the start of the last season, it's not just any 4-3-3, the reason for that is because you look at the midfield, the 3 midfielders are in line, they're the same length, not one player is more advanced or more defensive minded, and that means that all 3 players in the midfield have to attack and defend, and that just makes for a very active midfield. Everyone's supposed to be equal in their jobs. And that means I have to have 3 really all-round players. So with the likes of Bakuna, you can see there he's a right back, but I actually use him in that centre midfield or centre defensive midfield because he's just everything, isn't he? And if you look to the side of the field, you see that the right back and the left back there. So what I did last season, I think what really helped me last season is that the right back worked well with the right wing and the left back worked really well with the left wing, and both of them had a really good partnership or relationship, and I think that really worked out well because players like Perch, Meekings, Fokable, they worked their way up the field and then they came back to defend. They were expected to do that for the whole season, and they really helped out the wingers. So that's just another reason why this whole formation worked out for me. We usually play on the wings and we like to work it in the middle as well. So that's pretty much the basis of the team. And you just saw Simon Makinok there. He's a big striker, he's 6'7", he's from Denmark, and he worked really well when I wanted to play crosses or more long balls. So I've also got Berahino here. I bought him in January, and he's just someone that I can bring on to mix it up a bit when I want to play more on the ground football. So we'll just have a quick look at the reserves, and I'm just going to tell you now, at the end of this episode, 16 of my players will have game faces, and it's just something that's happened over the last season. I've bought lots of players that have game faces, and it's just just by pure luck, pure chance, and I'm going to keep going on with that idea, buying the game face players. Not a big deal, but it just adds detail into the game or into the career mode story, and I think you guys will really like that because it just personalises it. Players like Daniel Johnson, who has a game face. And I'm going to show you the budget again. So 11.5 million. It's not a lot because we've already built the core of the team. So we're just going to add a few more players to this. So this is our shortlist: Craig Dawson, David Myler, Niall Ranger, and Nathan D'Alfonso. But Craig Dawson in particular, he's 25 years old, 1.6 million. And if I could just say, all of these players have game faces. So with Craig Dawson, I think he'd be about 69, 70 overall. He'd be playing on the left back. Well, I would play him on the left back. And he's just an all-round player. He's tall. He's got a bit of weight behind him, got a bit of strength and power, and 1.6 million. How can you not buy him? Also, another good thing for this career mode, this is a Premier League team. He's English as well, so that just adds to the detail, the realism of this career mode and the story. So, next player is David Myler. Now, David Myler, just like Craig Dawson, he's a big, tall lad, but he's a midfielder instead of a centre-back, so, I'd be using him because I think we got out-muscled a lot in the Championship last season. Sometimes we had players like Daniel Johnson, a Zog, who are quite small, but then we had Bakuna in the middle, so it'd be cool just to bump up the midfield a bit, give them a bit of strength and bulk. And we've also got Nile Ranger. Now, this is a controversial player. I wasn't really sure about buying him because of the stuff that's happened in real life. He's been axed by a lot of his clubs. His contract's been terminated a lot of times because of what he's done. You can have a look yourself. And I don't think it's for me to say on here what that stuff is. That was real life, and this is a game. I think there's a difference between a game and real life. So that's my reasoning behind it. So I'm sticking to the game, just some personal things. But for the sake of a career mode, a game face, English, tall, striker, you cannot ignore his stats as well. A lot of greens and yellows. Personally, I don't think he should be playing football with the amount of opportunities he's wasted. I'm sure a lot of you guys would grasp an opportunity to play for your favourite team or play professional football. But if you just use your imagination for a career mode and just think, maybe this guy wants to prove a point. I think in real life now at Blackpool, he's on minimum wage. So that's crazy for a football salary. And just think about it. Use your imagination. Anything could happen, right? Now, Nathan D'Alfonso, he was a bright prospect in FIFA 10, 11, 12. He was supposed to team up with Bonlahor and Aston Villa, but that hasn't happened. He's 24 years old, and now he just needs first-team football. He just needs to get into a team and start playing some football, because he is a good player. He's a speedster. And that rounded up the shortlist. So we signed David Myler, so 2.2 million, just 100,000 above his actual value, so 15,000 a week, and I still think that's an awesome deal. We've also signed up Nathan D'Alfonso and Nile Ranger. So you can pause at any time if you want to see the deals up and close. Just wanted to speed it up a bit. And we got a decline for Craig Dawson, but didn't stop us. He just wanted a bigger role in the team, so we gave him an important first team player and 12,000 a week. I think that's an awesome deal. Just all under 2 million, I think. And so soon after that we signed Craig Dawson. So we signed 4 really cheap players, and that brought us nicely to our first pre-season game against Deport Alaves. I think that's how you say it, but we're playing away from home. There's Craig Dawson and his new game face. So some really exciting players we want to be using. But Bakuna, the player of the season last year, passes it off to Powell, who finds Berahino in a bit of a space. Look at that, good pass, and then Berahino passes off to Lualua. On the first touch, he's going to cross, and then on the end of it is McManaman. I didn't want him to be on the end of that, McManaman, but this is what I want him to be doing. So a good pass by Craig Dawson. And then there he is, just finding that bit of space, using his acceleration and his sprint speed. He doesn't have the best sprint speed, but he's still pretty good, considering the other players in the team. He was trying to work a way in, but he gets tackles. And now, good tackle from the strikers. They're coming back, so good signs early on in the season. David Myler, first touch for him. And then look who's on the end of this through ball. James Perch. Glenn Johnson couldn't even do that. But just a good right back, he's getting forward. Now we're under pressure. Rajkovic is trying to find a bit of space. He finds Craig Dawson, who's playing in left back today, and then we just slow the game down with David Myler. So we've relieved the pressure, and now Omar Gonzalez is going to start up a new attack from the back. Lualua, Powell's come off injured. He's walking off, so bit of a decoy there. Lualua is going to cross it in now, and on the end of it is McManaman. So that was actually a kick. He kicked that, didn't header it. But, at the end of the half, I thought, it's a pre-season game. Why don't I bring on some of these other players and bring on 3 new subs at the end of the half? So, the 3 new guys could have a full half. So players would come on like Nile Ranger, the controversial player I talked about. And also Ali El-Habsi will come on as well. So there he is there, the good loyal goalkeeper from Oman. So they'll all get a half. And here we are, second half. And they give the ball away from a free kick. The goalie gave the ball away. Lualua is going to lay it off to Nile Ranger, and Nile Ranger scores. So that was 0-0 for the first half of the game. Nile Ranger comes on, he scores, and then I was talking about a controversial player, and now he just scores. So maybe I have to keep using him. I don't know. I think I will have to, but we've got a lot of competition in the striker position, don't we? D'Alfonso, Makianok, So yeah, we've got lots of good strikers. It's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in the season. Which striker I'll be using more often. But I was still celebrating after that goal, and then they managed to score. So the Alaves player scores in the 53rd minute. We scored in the 49th. So I was asleep. I couldn't believe it, but I wasn't too fussed because it is a friendly. So no harm done to Ali Al Habsi or the defence. But it took us until the 89th minute to get another good chance. Remember, the score is 1-1, and it's a pre-season. We just wanted to get up there and have a go for it. So we just wanted to get all the players up there. Duncan will pass it off to Ranger. He'll cut inside, and then he's going to take a shot, and then he scores. So Niall Ranger comes on at the second half, or at the end of the first half, and he scores 2 crackers on his debut for Wigan. He's getting paid minimum wage at Blackpool, and then he's coming to Wigan. Just imagine in this career mode, in this game, this FIFA game, he's coming to Wigan. Like a 10th chance for him, isn't it? And he's just proved some of his critics wrong. He's starting to change. Maybe, you just use your imagination. What do you think is going to happen with Niall Ranger? Do you want me to keep using him, or do you want me to start using Makinok or Delfonso or McLean? So you'll have to tell me what you think. Which striker do you prefer? The big front man Makinok, or just the speedsters? So that'd be good if you could comment, which strikers do you like best and how you think the team's going. And I'll see you in the next episode. So I think we'll stop it here. That's the first episode of the Wigan Roundup, and I will see you when we start the season. So yeah, thanks guys. See ya.